Hello, this is Superior Chirk. It is now 4:03. I call the City of Las Vegas Art Commission meeting to order, and please could we have a roll call?
Chair Chirk,
Present.
Vice Chair Bednarczyk,
Here.
Second Vice Chair Roberts, excused. Commissioner Clevin,
Here.
Commissioner Hackett Morgan, excused. Commissioner Westfield, excused. Commissioner Douglas,
Here.
Commissioner DeSantis,
Here.
Commissioner Chi, excused. Commissioner Lee,
Present.
Commissioner Beals, Commissioner Portnoy.
Present.
Thank you, Chair. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Agenda item number 2. Are we compliant with open meeting law?
Yes, Chair, we are.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 3, public comment. Comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. Are there any public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 4 for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the regular meeting of the Arts Commission and Education Subcommittee of the Art Commission meeting of November 21st, 2024.
Commissioner Clevin, I move to approve the meeting minutes.
Commissioner Douglas, second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 5, report by Superior Chirk, Art Commissioner Chair regarding monthly summary of current activities, cultural events, and opportunities for all wards. On Sunday, January 19th from 3 to 5 p.m., celebrate Peace Week with dance, music, and food with your neighbors. This event is free and open to the public at Doolittle Active Adult Center, 1930 North J Street. Join us Thursday, January 30th from 5 to 7 for the opening reception of Lunar New Year, Year of the Snake, group exhibition in the Mayor's Gallery at the Historic 5th Street School, 401 South 4th Street. Join us Thursday, February 20th from 5 to 7 p.m. for the opening reception of People of Color exhibition curated by Brett Holmes in the Chamber Gallery at City Hall, 495 South Main Street. For more information about these events and more Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Fair programming, please visit artslasvegas.org or call 702-229-ARTS. And then I will also share there are a few events that are coming up with the Nevada Arts Council. There are 3 in-person workshop for the upcoming grants opportunities that will be held in Wednesday, February 12th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Aliante Library Large Meeting Room. Thursday, February 13th, 3 to 5 p.m. for the English meeting, and then 5:30 to 7:30 for the Spanish workshop at East Las Vegas Community Center, Ballroom 8. Friday, February 14th, James Gibson Library in Henderson from 1 to 3 p.m. For more information, please visit nvartscouncil.org. Do any other commissioners have additional events or happening that they would like to mention?
Yes, Commissioner Lee. The Chinese New Year in the Desert is having and celebrating the Year of the Snake on January 30th through February 1st. The Las Vegas Spring Festival, also known as the Lunar New Year Parade, is going to be happening in downtown Container Park on February 1st, 2025, from 11 a.m. to noon. It is a festive gathering to celebrate the new year. There are also, if you look at CNY in the desert, there's a number of activities throughout that weekend to celebrate the new Lunar New Year. Thank you.
This is Commissioner Portnoy. There is an exhibit at Portnoy Gallery running through the end of January from 10 to 3 daily, Monday through Friday, titled Cities of the World.
This is
Oh, go ahead.
This is Commissioner Beals, and 33 Gallery is hosting a book release, celebration, and installation of an exhibition entitled Reincarnated, Poems from Prison by Jagata Chambers. And the doors open at 5:30 p.m., and author conversation will take place at 7 p.m.
This is Commissioner Douglas. There's an event as soon as tomorrow over at the UNLV's Marjorie Barrick Museum of Art. On view is Yoko Kondo Konopik on canvas, as well as Color Made, Women's Rights Are Human Rights. There's several exhibitions that are going to be there. Gabriela Rodriguez, but they're on view Friday, January 17th, and there's also going to be an opening reception on Friday, January 24th from 5 to 8 at the UNLV Marjorie Barrick Museum of Art. Besides that, we see at the Left of Center Gallery, Kishandra James, her exhibition called The Veil is on view. It's on view currently now since January 15th until April 5th at the Left of Center Gallery, but there will be a reception for her on Saturday, January 25th from noon to 3 p.m. Besides that, we have at the Nuwu Art Gallery and Community Center on January 31st from 5 to 8 p.m., Lolita Devalay's solo exhibition, High Roller Blooms. All are invited to attend, and there will be some programming throughout the time there. So from the end of January through the end of April, there's going to be different programming, but for now, I'll announce for February's Weaving Wednesdays. Artist Ashanti McGee will be leading some weaving workshops. They're free and open to the public, supported by the nonprofit Indigenous AF. So each Wednesday on February 5th, 12th, 19th, and 26th, there'll be free art programming for the public from 6 to 8 p.m.
All right, moving on to agenda item number 6, report by Cultural Affairs staff regarding a monthly summary of current initiatives.
Hello, this is Holly Lay for the record. We're going to, or we have a staff report document with all of the financials in your binder as usual. And we are going to first discuss the tour that we are going to do next month. And unfortunately, after a lot of discussion between us, the clerk's office, and our attorney, it has been recommended that we do not host a tour with a quorum present. And that means that we would not be able to take everyone at the same time. But we can provide a recommended route for those that would like to see the collection in all the wards across the valley, and populate a map with some pieces in our collection for you to follow. So with that said, our regular meeting will be on February 20th at 4 p.m. We have the next 3 on here for the regular meetings. Would we like to add, oh wait, never mind, scratch that. We're going to talk about the educational committee. That's not for this meeting. If you haven't already, please sign up to receive the Public Art and Galleries newsletter. It's the best way to receive information about our receptions, events, and opportunities. We currently have 2 open calls for artists. We have the Aerial Gallery artwork license that closes on February 6th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We also have the call for artists for Las Vegas Perspectives. This closes on February 28th, 2025 at 6 p.m. You can find more details and full applications on the Arts Registry.
This is Mary Sabo for the record. the formerly known as Casino Center Pocket Park sculpture project. The Seed by CR2 Sculptures is being in the process of relocating to Boulder Plaza. The artist team is working on their engineering documents, which will be due to the city's public works team for initial review by January 24th.
This is Laura Machado. The Civic Center Plaza Public Art Project by Cliff Garden Studios is moving forward smoothly. They have received their first, second, and third project milestones. Their permit has been issued, and they're going to start pouring the foundation by the end of this month, so everything's moving along pretty nicely. Also, the next project for the Civic Center building we're working on is the interior artwork for the space. We've selected, well, the evaluation panel selected 4 artists. Those contracts have been fully executed, so we're going to be working with Jig Depio, Valentin Yordanoff, Fawn Douglas, and Sebastian Corti. I'll share images of the artwork at the next Arts Commission meeting. We continue to address ongoing maintenance and conservation issues as they arise. Currently, the staff has secured services from artist Audrey Del Rocchio for the repair of the East Las Vegas mural. As you can see, there was some vandalism, rocks were thrown. So we're working with her. She's coming in March to do the repairs. We're also hiring a scaffolding company to make sure that she is stable and secured while she's working on all of those different repairs. So that'll happen in the next couple months. We also have in conservation maintenance the ongoing care of Paintbrush Gateway. So we put out a request for proposals looking for vendors to propose an idea of how they would go about restoring Paintbrush Gateway. It closed on January 9th. We received 3 vendor submissions. We have an evaluation panel that's currently reviewing those submissions, and we hope to have a vendor selected by the end of January so we can go ahead and move forward with these much-needed repairs. The budget for that project is $110,000.
Holly Lay for the record. The public art program is continuing its work with artist Justin Favela to complete he has completed his community engagement part of the project, and today we'll be presenting his design based off of all of that engagement. Here are some updates on the Medical District art projects. This is the overview. But going into a little more detail, we have Brainstorm by Wayne Littlejohn that is currently in fabrication. This will be placed in front of the UNLV Dental School on Shadow Lane. And The Healer by Luis Varela Rico is still, we're still in contract phase. We're sharing the design that's been updated. This was one that was put out in a community survey. So we just wanted to share that we're still looking for a location for that piece. And then we have Star Child by Mark Brandvik that is currently in fabrication. It will be placed on the northeast corner of Shadow Lane and Wellness Way. Both his and Wayne Littlejohn's Brainstorm should be installed by the end of this year.
This is Mary Sabo for the record. I was really hoping that I could share with you all of the artists that was selected for the Westside Education and Training Center public art projects. The artist was selected by the evaluation panel a few months ago. We are still, unfortunately, the contract is in progress, but still waiting on the final licenses and insurance. Once those are signed and executed, then I can share with you. Hopefully by the next meeting, I can share the artist's name.
And that concludes the report by Cultural Affairs staff regarding a monthly summary of current initiatives in all wards.
Thank you. This is Sapira. We'll move on to agenda item number 7, discussion for possible action regarding a design proposal presented by Justin Favela, artist, for the Sunrise Avenue Sculpture Project located at North 26th Street and Sunrise Avenue for Ward 3.
Let's just hit the big one. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Justin Favela, and I'm so happy to be here to present my project. I was born and raised here in East Las Vegas, and I've been an independent artist now for years, representing Vegas everywhere I go. You know, I went to Vegas High School, I went to UNLV, and I get to travel the country now and sometimes the world to show my work. I brought you a few examples of my work to show you. This is a common kind of lowrider piñata that I make. This is a replica to scale of a very famous West Coast lowrider called the Gypsy Rose. This is at the Peterson Automotive Museum, also showcased here at the West Sahara Library a few years ago, and at Nuwu Art Gallery and Community Center recently. And right now it's currently on exhibit at the Perez Art Museum in Miami. So a lot of my work is based in this piñata style, celebrating my culture, but also kind of investigating the layers behind our history, much like the layers of a piñata. So here's another example of my work at the Denver Art Museum, where I created this immersive environment with art historical references to artists like Jose Maria Velasco and Frida Kahlo. Here is a mural, a portion of a mural I did for the Sugar Hill Children's Museum of Art and Storytelling in New York, where I took animation cells from very famous children's movies depicting Latin America. This is from the movie The Three Caballeros from the 1940s, representation of the Amazon jungle. And as you can see here, it is, you can see the work kind of in the space as it was used in this museum. And here's a big pile of nachos, big paper piñata nachos. A lot of my work is kind of talking about like the notions of authenticity through Mexican food as well. And so I installed these nachos at the Music and Arts Center in Belfast, Ireland in 2017. And here's another big nacho installation that I did over at the Kohler Arts Center in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, because I've never seen so much cheese in my life when I went to Wisconsin. So I decided to respond to the environment, and the public actually helped me make this installation. And so now back to Las Vegas. I'm finally back home and happy to be home and happy to be working on a public artwork on the east side where I grew up. This is a lot of my family that still lives and works on the east side here at the Neon. This is us at the Neon Museum. And so when I was asked to propose a work for the public, I think my family's opinion was really important, and so was the East Side's opinion. So along with the help of the city, we developed some programming to not only educate the public, but really to get their input and let them know what's happening. A lot of times as a local, especially on the East Side, we feel like we're not informed, we don't know what's going on, so this was really important to me. So we had a big reception at the East Side Community Center, East Las Vegas Community Center, where we had a reception for some of the works that are in the collection there that are also mine. And I showed the public some of my work and introduced the new public art project to them. I was also able to, there's some funding for me to throw a family fiesta and lowrider show with my family and friends here on the east side. We set up at Roy Martin Middle School, right on 28th Street, where I grew up, which was so amazing to see my family back after so many years in the neighborhood, just celebrating Las Vegas and each other, and also learning a little bit about public art. And I've also been working with my friend Sergio Salgado over at Equipo Academy on the east side, and I'm working with his classes to kind of show them the process of developing a public art project and what it takes. So I went and we kind of brainstormed ideas about what they'd like to see, and what I kept getting from my family, my friends, the students at the school, was that they wanted to see something accessible that they understood, and that came from somebody from the East Side. And so I was thinking about responding maybe to lowrider culture. And during all of this, I've also been volunteering with Get Outdoors Nevada and the initiatives to designate part of East Las Vegas as the East Las Vegas Monument because of the ecological importance of the area. This is us at a cleanup over at the Great Unconformity, which is a really cool little trail over there on the way to Lake Mead on the east side. And while I've been doing this research, I've been learning a lot about the ecology on the east side, which I never really thought about because, it's just kind of seen as this desert wasteland. Right here is a photo of what we call Sunrise Mountain, but it's really Frenchman Mountain. And this is really the backdrop of the east side. I feel like it's the monument for all East Siders. We just look at it every day with such pride. And I have made some artworks dedicated to Sunrise Mountain, Frenchman Mountain in the past, so I really wanted to include something about Sunrise Mountain in this. And so I was looking at where this is gonna be. This is over by, on 26th and Sunrise Avenue, pretty close to where Roy Martin Middle School is, over by Acre. I think, what is this elementary school that used to be there? I think it's a city building now, but there's this interesting little intersection there, and it has this island in the middle. So here's a couple different shots of it. And it's also in a neighborhood, so I wanted to be really conscious of the neighbors and make sure that the sculpture that's there, I don't know how a nicer way to say it, isn't an eyesore, and it blends into a neighborhood. It's literally next to all these houses, right? And so, going out to do cleanups in the desert, hiking in the trails recently, I've been learning a lot about the Las Vegas bear poppy, and the more I learn about it, the more I want to protect this plant. It's actually an endangered plant. It's on the endangered species list, and the Las Vegas bear poppy only grows in Clark County, in this area, because of the amount of gypsum that's in Frenchman Mountain and the surrounding areas. It sometimes doesn't bloom depending on the conditions, and it's becoming a little bit more and more scarce, so there's more and more people trying to protect this plant. And when I saw this, it reminded me of a conversation I had with my grandmother a couple years back when I asked her, if she understood what I was doing with my art career and what I was making, and she says, I really don't know what you do, and I don't even know why you do it, but why don't you make yellow flowers? Everybody loves yellow flowers. And so I'm taking my grandma's advice on this one, and I want to do I'm going to make a giant sculpture of the Las Vegas bear poppy and put it in the median there. So this is a little replica. I made a little model of that triangular island there in that intersection. And the idea is to build a sculpture with 3 Las Vegas bear poppies coming out of the leaves there in the intersection, all made out of metal, of course, surrounded by desert landscaping, mostly boulders, I think for safety, but also to call back to Sunrise Mountain and the gypsum and all the minerals that are found there. And here's a little close-up of the flower there. And to me, having a yellow poppy blooming on the east side, specifically near 28th Street where I grew up, I think the symbolism there is just so powerful. The poppy is a symbol of optimism. It's a symbol of friendship. It's also, the yellow poppy is also known to symbolize a remembrance of the people that came before us. And so not only, honoring the future, but honoring our elders with this. And if you can see on these light poles, they actually represent the NV Energy utility poles that are already there. But growing up in Las Vegas, The cicada shells, just instant nostalgia for me. So this is a way to kind of tie in me and my family growing up on the east side, having a cicada shell on the pole. I understand that it might not be possible because it's a utility pole, so I might have to make kind of like a dummy pole instead. But that is part of, that will probably be cast in resin or some sort of plastic to be part of the installation as well. Here's just, I'm going to go around, do different views so you can see the different angles. And so if you can imagine the flower being at least 20 feet tall, where the petals are. Sunset lighting, so you can see it there. Yeah, so thank you so much for your time, and I hope you like the design and the concept behind this public art sculpture.
This is Commissioner Douglas. Justin, thank you so much for your presentation. And I really like the idea of, it's almost like bringing the outside in and bringing something that's on the outskirts of like the city area and bringing it into a more urban area. And this plant specifically, this is in the Southern Paiute language, is sawits. Sawits means flower or in bloom. And it was something of cultural significance when a number of conservation groups and Southern Paiutes gathered to designate Gold Butte as a national monument, recognizing that the bear poppy was a part of that area. And whenever I'd go hiking there or going to other artifact sites and such, I would see the bear poppy very sparingly. It's almost like oh my gosh, I'm seeing it, because it's almost like a rare sighting sometimes. The bear poppy is absolutely beautiful, especially when the sun is shining through it. It's almost like stained glass. And if you ever were close enough to touch it, the leaves on the bottom actually feel like a puppy's ears. That is how soft those leaves are. I really think this is absolutely fantastic, and I'm wondering about just the landscaping around the area, because currently there are a couple of these stones that are there, but in this rendering there's just like some more stones. I'm wondering if the city could support even further some beautification of this area, like additionally like adding some stones. Maybe even adding some of, I don't think we could plant the bear poppy there, but there's the desert daisy that's very accessible at any Lowe's or Home Depot to be planted around. Not to take away from, of course, the sculpture, but I think there's other beautification efforts that could be done by the city to help support and elevate this work of art, especially in this area that seems very bare of art. Like there isn't any color, any, because I've driven past this area and I've gone around it, but I'm not seeing any murals, I'm not seeing anything. It's just like, here's some homes, here's, the children are walking past this all the time, with the schools there. But I think that, I'm wondering if there's any way, I don't know if it's the Arts Commission or if it's the city, I don't know if it's Public Works or what, but to help support with additional stones in this area.
Holly Lay for the record. We are going to reach out to Public Works about fixing that curb and definitely making that better. But I believe the stones are part of Justin's proposal. So I don't know if that's something that he would want to curate to then select certain boulders that are kind of a certain color, shape, that would go into that location, and then we could work with him to maybe beautify that more after the install, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. But if there's any other beautification on top of this proposal, I would want the city to really look at that. Be a good way to just amplify this.
Yeah, the idea is to add to the stones that are already there, but yeah, I think adding plant life is always a bonus, so I'm open to that as well.
Pauline Lee, Commissioner Lee, I love the whole concept of the flower, gorgeous, but I had two comments. Number one, it is an intersection. I just want to make sure that it doesn't somehow obstruct a viewpoint, especially when you take a look at that location. Okay, I'm just a little worried that people can't see, so we have to kind of be mindful of size. And then secondly, you got me on the flower. I'm just not sure if that cicada looks right. Or maybe you get a couple of cicadas, but one by itself looks a little bit accidental. Can we have more than one, or?
Sure.
Or,
I
you
just
know-
did, it's just some people are grossed out by them, so I didn't want to do too many cicadas, you know, so.
Or maybe, I don't know.
I thought one was
Or
a
maybe it's
compromise.
or it could be the proportion.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's probably the proportion, but I just want you to be aware that that is an intersection, and you do have traffic going in and out, so we can't make the art too big. Right.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the main reasons I really like the flower as well, because the leaves are lower and then the stems are so thin that you can see through it, you know, so I think once we start actually designing it, we can really make sure that, Holly, go ahead.
Yeah, Holly Lay for the record. We did do we do have the plans that show what would obstruct the line of view, line of sight in that intersection. So he will be putting everything within that so that it won't block any view, because that is a very dangerous thing. So yeah, we definitely have that on the plans.
This is Sapira.
I'm sorry, one more. How can we prevent graffiti? You know, a lot of our budget is dedicated to renovation and maintenance. Is there any material that can be used to prevent graffiti? Because I can guarantee you, within 6 months, all those rocks will have black marks on them.
This is Laura Machado. You'd actually be really surprised that in a lot of these neighborhoods, we don't see a lot of graffiti. Where we do see a lot of graffiti is in the Arts District. So Historic West Side, we did a whole program with murals. None of it has been tagged. I would probably bet that this community would take pride in it, and we wouldn't necessarily see a lot of graffiti. But we do have anti-graffiti coating that we could apply. Sometimes on sculptures, it fades over time. So I'm not sure if we'll want to use it, but my guess is that this location won't receive a lot of tagging, is my opinion.
This is Commissioner Clevin. Also, I think to answer that graffiti question, Justin's done a good job of doing outreach in the community already and kind of expose them to this concept of a public art piece in their area. So essentially, he's making it for them, and they'll take hold of it and protect it.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Chi.
Oh.
First off, sorry to my commissioners, I completely got the meeting time wrong. You take off a month and forget that it starts at 4:30, at 4, 4, not 4:30. So I missed the beginning part, but how is this, can you tell me what materials is costing the most to make this cost $192,500?
Well, it'll have to be made out of steel, the flower, and then if we make cicadas, they'll have to be cast out of resin, so that gets pretty expensive. And then having to pour the foundation and all of that, so yeah. And I know just the price of boulders is pretty expensive as well.
Hi, this is Sapira. In the images that you've shown, there's like the flowers are made out of, are they tissue at the
Yeah, well,
moment? They're paper?
yes.
There's like a really translucent quality, and it's really beautiful in like the light, but with the material as metal, it's not gonna have that quality. Like, how different will it look, or will it still carry that texture of like your very signature like paper texture feel?
Ideally, if I can find a person to fabricate like resin cast or kind of see-through, plexi, that would be ideal. But I also do like the way that they look metal. I've seen, other sculpture with a metal, I'm thinking of big artists like Oldenburg, who did these big metal castings. So I'm kind of calling to that art historically. So I'm really open to editing this and working with the city to make it work. But I know what you mean with the flowers. But I'm also thinking about the longevity of that material, and it's going to be under that really hot sun. So they might not look as transparent if we do make them the same material as the stems and the leaves. Yeah. Thank you.
Commissioner Lee, for the record, is there any uplighting that will be placed in that artwork?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, yes, I would love some uplighting, but I think once we start to really get into the nitty-gritty of the budget, we'll get to see if we can add lighting to that area.
This is Commissioner Beals. I just wanted to say that I always love what you present. You always have this beautiful and authentic way of making the invisible visible. So congratulations on this, this potential public work.
Thank you so much.
This is Commissioner Douglas. So I did attend the family fiesta, and I was noticing how it was an intergenerational event. So many people were there, and everybody was happy and having a good time. And really, Justin was talking about his art, and people were proud because here is a person from our neighborhood, from this area, and it was just like they were seeing a part of themselves being portrayed. And so I definitely second. I forgot which commissioner said, Commissioner Clevin, about how like the neighborhood will take care of it. Not seeing people going over to graffiti it. This is something that this neighborhood is going to be very, very proud of, and just Las Vegas in general. Because when we think about these large-scale sculpture artists in different cities, and yes, we do have one of the, was it Oldham, with the flashlight?
Oldenburg, the flashlight,
yes. Yeah, we do have one of those larger pieces, but here's also one of our artists, Justin Favela, creating this large-scale work. I think this is something that's going to pull other people to want to visit this area. And I'm hoping that even when this is finished, we could have maybe another family fiesta to unveil it and for the neighborhood to come out and celebrate this work of art.
Thank you, everyone. Is there a motion?
Oh, this is Commissioner Douglas. I'd like to make a motion to accept the work by Justin Favela.
This is Commissioner Beals, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye. I don't oppose. I'm in favor. My microphone wasn't working.
Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, moving on to agenda item number 8, discussion for possible action regarding the acceptance of a donation of artworks titled Temptress and Valid by Linder Altowitz, unknown by Alex Kratzky, unknown by an artist from Ghana, and the mayor's portrait by James Heminger, into the city's permanent art collection.
Thank you. This is Laura Machado. So we have a few artwork donations to bring to the Arts Commission to review today. With the transition in the mayor's office, our team learned that we had some artwork on display that now we're bringing to you. So we have 2 pieces that are being offered by donation from Linda Alterwitz, Temptress and Valet. These are framed photographs that have been on loan with the city for over 10 years. They've been on display and continue to be on display in the mayor's suite, and the artist would like to donate these 2 pieces. We have 3 more. These were actually gifted to Mayor Goodman, and she would like to donate them to the city. The first is a drawing on panel by Alex Kratzky. The next is a painting on canvas from an artist from Ghana. And then the third is an encaustic on metal by James Henninger. So our team recommends accepting this donation, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
This is Commissioner Douglas. Where will the art be? Like, where will this be displayed or held?
That's a great question. So currently, the 2 pieces that are being offered by Linda Alterwitz will stay in the mayor's suite. We need to find a location for the painting for the artist from Ghana. And then the former Mayor Oscar Goodman and now former Carolyn Goodman, they actually have a storage area where we have items that have been part of the collection that are focused around the Goodmans. So those would probably stay with that collection.
Hi, this is Sapira. I just have a question. We would accept them as a group, right, not individually?
We could do it however you'd like. If you'd like to accept them individually, we can go through the list. If you'd like to accept them as a group, we can do it that way. After your vote, we'll actually have to draft paperwork, and it goes to the city manager's office for them to approve, and then it goes into our collection.
Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make the motion to accept the donation of all of these works in one fell swoop.
This is Commissioner Beals, second.
All right. This is Sapira. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion passes. All right, thank you. We're moving on to agenda item number 9, discussion for possible action regarding the lease extension of contemporary project sculpture Enrich Heritage by artist Adolfo Gonzalez, located at 1300 C Street.
Thank you. This is Laura Machado. So we have Enriched Heritage by Adolfo Gonzalez that's currently located at the Abodo Collective. We talked about this collective a little bit earlier. That's at 1300 C Street in the historic West Side. It's currently on display through the Contemporary Public Art Program. If you remember, this is a program where we work with artists, and they have installed artwork throughout the different wards, and then that's a temporary display of 1 year. So Abodo Collective is really happy with this sculpture. They would like for it to stay. I talked to the artist. In order to extend the loan agreement, that 1 year extension would be an additional $3,000. If the Arts Commission would like to purchase the piece, the purchase price would be $40,000. I'm bringing this to you so that you can have a conversation about which area or which avenue you would like to go down, and then we can bring it back at the next Arts Commission if we want to actually make a formal vote and have a dollar amount associated with this item.
Commissioner Lee, for the record question, and that is, do we incur the cost of taking the sculpture out after the end of the lease?
No, part of his agreement with us for this loan is to install it, and then we have a loan for a year, and then to remove it. And that's part of the contract that was already set.
I kind of like, Commissioner Lee, I kind of like the idea of a lease extension, because I do think it's more interesting when we rotate different forms of art and different art pieces, and we give more opportunity to different artists to display their work. So I'm much more in favor of a lease extension as opposed to purchasing it.
This is Commissioner Chair. Could you give me a little bit more on the context of this sculpture?
Sure, absolutely. We worked with Adolfo, and he's familiar with the Historic West Side. He also did a piece that is near Doolittle Center. It's kind of in response to the Queen of the Arts that are currently located at the West Las Vegas Art Center. He wanted to have a male figure, so if you're familiar with the Queen of the Arts, it's 2 female figureheads that are at the entrance, are creating a gateway for the West Las Vegas Art Center. And so this was his response. And he crafted this temporary sculpture really in a permanent material, so it's all welded steel. It has a foundation that's concrete, it's epoxied in. I think that he really put a lot of time and effort. I can share with you the original proposal at the next meeting if you'd like. But it's kind of a response, and also wanting to share, this, in this community space, a really strong male figure.
This is Commissioner Portnoy. I have a question. Obviously, it's a beautiful piece. Do we have a program in the city where we're commissioning temporary exhibits where we're going to run into this problem all the time of, okay, do we now have it taken out? Or can we engage in a program to rotate these beautiful works of art, part of the arts collection throughout the city. And that way we don't have to lease them all the time or purchase them all the time. We just increase the amount of art being sculpture, whatever, around the city of Las Vegas.
So we would either need to purchase it or lease it because we're compensating the artists for their work. So maybe I'm not sure what the question is.
Listen, every artist has a price. Obviously, this is $40,000.
Yeah.
But if we work a program out, visibility, exposure for the artist has a value. Everything has a value. And if we get into some kind of program, we say, listen, for the next 10 years, we're going to rotate your work of art for X amount of dollars. And we budget that yearly into what we're allowed to spend, and then rotate the artwork throughout the city in different neighborhoods so we can integrate the cultures that we have here in Las Vegas throughout the valley.
Well, that was what the contemporary program was intended to be. Yeah, and it's morphed into a program that we call 3 on Main, and we have 3 sculpture pads, and Holly's working on that project to install. It's like a rotating sculpture space.
How many works do we currently have? Does anybody know? Or?
In the 3 on Main?
In that program, yeah.
There's 3. There will be 3.
No extended time period, 10 years, 5 years?
I think the call was for 2 years, is that right? 2 years. So it'll rotate out every 2 years.
Every 2 years. And commissioning new artists to do new pieces,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 extended.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Was there a motion on the floor? No?
So if we don't extend the lease, this is Commissioner Lee, if we don't extend the lease, that gives us an opportunity to look at other pieces of art, correct?
We would have to, or we would put out a call if we were interested in filling this space, yes.
And what would that budget be for the lease? I'm just trying to weigh whether it makes sense for a one-year extension, which would be $3,000 versus we'd have to go and look at other art, which would be more.
Yeah, it would be less expensive to do the 1-year extension. I can't remember, Holly, how much is the 3 on Main?
Each of those artists get $10,000 for us having their sculpture for the 2-year lease.
So each sculpture was $10,000 for a 2-year lease. So this is definitely would be less than if we, well, I would like to make the motion to extend the lease for 1 year for $3,000 for this particular art piece. I think that the city is, there's not a lot of income coming in, and I just want to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible.
This is Commissioner Douglas. I'd like to second the motion for a 1-year extension for $3,000. I think if the Bodo Collective likes this sculpture and they're having their grocery store opening on February 22nd of this year, it might be worthwhile to keep this, at least for the next year.
This is Sapira. Great, thank you. All in favor of extending the lease on Enrich Heritage?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any oppose? Okay, hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. All right, moving on to agenda item number 10, discussion regarding topics for future agenda items. Comment made during this portion of the agenda by individual members shall refer solely to proposed for future agenda items, and any discussion shall be limited to whether or not such proposed item are within the purview of the commission, and or whether such proposed item shall be placed on a future agenda. No discussion regarding the substance of any such proposed topic shall occur, and no action shall be taken. Commissioners, any proposed future agenda items?
Commissioner Lee, one of the proposed items is Holly Lay and I talked to one of the staff members over at Howard Hughes Properties. Was it you? I think it was, wait, was it Mary?
Holly Lay for the record. I believe it was Laura.
Oh, Laura, sorry, Laura. Laura Machado. And we talked about, I'd like one of the future agenda items to be a presentation of the public art that has been displayed in Summerlin and has been commissioned by the Summerlin HOA and Howard Hughes Corporation.
Laura Machado, just to clarify, that's a presentation by city staff? Okay.
Thank you. Any other agenda items? None? All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 7, citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the commission. No subject may be acted upon by the commission unless the subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited.
Hello, I'm Shelley Berkeley, Mayor of Las Vegas. I have been in, thank you. I have been in this wonderful position for 6 weeks now, and I've taken it upon myself to try to meet as many people that impact the city that I would not ordinarily come in contact with on an ongoing basis. So I am just here to, first of all, thank you for your service to the city. I can't think of a committee I would rather sit on than this one. It's very exciting what you do, and you are making our community beautiful. And I want to thank you on behalf of all of the citizens of Las Vegas. I grew up here, as many of you may know. There was nothing like this. It wasn't even a thought 50, 60 years ago. And here we are promoting the arts in the fabulous city of Las Vegas. So anything that you need from the mayor's office or anything I can do to help you to make this city even more beautiful than it is, please let me know. It would be my pleasure and my honor to work with you and provide you with the tools you need to beautify this remarkable city. And thank you so much for letting me say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, this is Commissioner Douglas. Mayor Berkeley, thank you so much for that introduction. And I don't know if you recall, but 20 plus years ago, I was on the Las Vegas Paiute Tribal Council when you were Congresswoman.
I just met with Benny
Oh,
in
yay.
my office at 4 o'clock.
No, thank you. Yes, but thank you so much for your advocacy for Native issues back then, and thank you even now. I saw you also appear at the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's fashion show at CSN just this past season. So thank you for showing up, and it's very good to see you.
Thank you very much, and thank all of you again very much.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, if there are none, meeting is adjourned. Right? Yeah.